Hello everyone, today's video is about Oggy and the CockRoaches. Now you may think there's not a lot we can learn about this comedic children's show, but in today's video you'll realise it's actually much more interesting than you imagined. Here's 20 facts about Oggy and the CockRoaches that you may not have known. Number 1. There was an episode banned for unknown reasons. The 12th episode of the second season, entitled "That's the Last Straw," about the cockroaches' plan to trick Oggy into believing that a meteor was coming to hit Earth, was banned. We do not know why. Do you have any ideas? Number 2. Oggy has 5 different phobias. The term scaredy cat was not invented for no reason, and we know that cats can get very easily frightened by even the smallest of things. In some episodes of the show, Oggy has displayed fear towards 5 specific things: water, rats and mice, needles, heights, and flying. Are you a scaredy cat? Number 3. The creators of the show named Oggy after a very famous punk rock musician. The general public has dubbed Iggy Pop as the godfather of punk, and the creators took this into account by naming Oggy after the famous musician. Number 4. Tom and Jerry inspired Oggy and the CockRoaches. In an article that you can find on the Animation Express website, Marc Dupontevis shared some interesting things about the production of the show. One interesting thing that he had to say about the development and creation of the characters was, and I quote, "I wanted to bring back into fashion that kind of non-verbal show. I told the creator, Jean-Yves Rambaud, to think of what Tom and Jerry would look like in the year 2000. And so, they decided to change Jerry with cockroaches." Number 5. An episode was banned due to hypnosis. Hip 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 Hypnosis is the 17th episode of the second season, in which Marky learns all about hypnosis after finding a book on it. He then applies all of the lessons he learns on poor old Oggy. Now, if you've seen this episode, you would know that all of his tricks work. However, if you're from Morocco, you wouldn't, as the episode was banned. Number 6. Witty poems have been dubbed over the animation in the German version of the show. The producers of Oggy and the CockRoaches in Germany decided to be a little bit more creative with the animation. Eberhard Storek, German dialogue editing legend, wrote poems that relate to the on-screen action. Number 7. The relationship between Jack and Oggy vary in some versions of the show. Now what we know for sure is that Jack is Oggy's next door neighbour. In some versions he's portrayed as being his cousin, however in the Hindi version he's portrayed as being his older brother. Which do you think it is? Number 8. An episode was banned in Islamic countries. The Ghost Hunter episode is mainly about how Oggy gets really scared after watching a 1940s era monster movie. The cockroaches then formulate a plan to scare Oggy further. The episode was banned in Islamic countries. However, for whatever reason, there are videos of the episode in Iran. Number 9. There are inconsistencies in Marky's antennas. The general style of Marky's antennas can be described as messy, curved, and twisted, but if you observe very closely, you might notice that there are some differences in his antennas throughout the series. Number 10. The show has been dubbed in Hindi dialogue. Oggy and the CockRoaches is a silent comedy show. This means that the characters do not speak or perform any unintelligible actions in the show. In the Indian version of the show, the producers decided to dub over the animation in Hindi dialogue. Would you want your language to be dubbed over the animation too? Number 11. Most of the characters' voices in Season 1 are muted. In the Philippines, Malaysia, and Thailand, from French Fries, the first episode of Season 1, all the way up to the Carnivals in Town, the 49th episode, have the characters' voices muted. Fortunately, the countries did eventually decide to air the show with the original characters' voices. Number 12. Oggy and the CockRoaches started in 1998. This fun animated series has been making people smile for well over 2 decades now. The first episode in fact aired on September the 6th, 1998. Number 13. You can now see the characters in Paris, France. Oggy, Joey, Dee Dee and Marky all have their very own wax figurines in the must-see Greven Museum in France. Marc Dupontevis of Zealand Animation had this to say: "We're delighted that Oggy and the Cockroaches has been chosen to set up home in the wonderful Greven Museum, and look forward to seeing families engage with Oggy in this way for years to come. Do you want to visit the museum?" Number 14. Oggy Oggy is a spin-off of Oggy and the Cockroaches. Now, it's no surprise that a show with this amount of worldwide and well-deserved popularity would eventually spawn a spin-off. Oggy Oggy is an upcoming CGI animated Netflix series, which sees Oggy as a young, enthusiastic and adventurous little kitten. If you'd like to see what this time of Oggy's life looked like, make sure you watch the show. Number 15. Oggy and the Cockroaches have their very own comic book series. American Mythology is a well-known comic book publisher who makes some of the best and most original content in the industry. Marketing manager Barlow Jones had this statement to make regarding working with the series: "Oggy and the Cockroaches is classic animated entertainment at its very best. We were ecstatic to work with the creators of the series and bring these beloved characters to life in their very own comic book series. Would you buy one?" Number 16. The Big Bad Wolf episode was banned! This is the 64th episode of the 7th season of the show, and it was banned only in Lithuania. Now, the plot of the episode and the characters' costumes very clearly referenced the old children's fairy tale, Red Riding Hood. Why do you think it was banned? Number 17. Only 5 countries in the world do not broadcast Oggy and the Cockroaches. Of the 195 countries in the world, 190 of them air the animated show. How cool is that? Number 18. There will be a reboot of the series. Oggy and the Cockroaches Next Gen is an upcoming reboot that will air in 2021. It will focus on Oggy's journey throughout his venture looking after a 7-year-old elephant named Pia. Number 19. The show is referenced in another French animated comedy series. You may have heard of another comedy series called Go West. Well, the cockroaches are referenced in there when Avril Dalton shakes a cockroach out of his boot. Did you catch the cockroaches in that episode? Number 20. France is the birthplace of Oggy and the Cockroaches. We're going to end with where everything started. The original title card of the show is Oggy et le Cafard. It was produced by Zealand and began to air in France, and of course, its success made it an international show that is known and loved by many. Sadly, that's all we've got time for today. Luckily for you, this channel is chock full of videos just like this one, so remember to smash that like button and subscribe to Endless Awe for your endless source of obsession.